Hey guys, backyard scrapping here. I just wanted to give you a little shot of our next little adventure. We are actually going to be refining some natural placer gold. I wanted to point a few things out to you though. This is naturally some very fine, it's not flour gold, but it's some, I don't know, what I call, a little bit bigger than sugar grain gold. I haven't weighed it exactly yet to see how much is there, but it's all pretty uniform in size. What this is this little tiny guy here was actually a little piece of amalgam. This was gold that was collected in mercury, and I already went ahead and burned it off and melted that little bead down. And then this was, to me, what I call farm gold or dirty gold. This looks like, probably maybe some western stuff, maybe came from out west. It doesn't look like Australian, and it doesn't look like Alaskan. I could be wrong. It could be Alaskan, but it looks more like it's from the west. This to me looked like it was Alaskan, small flakes and little nuggets. And do you see how much different in color that one is? That's almost white. This is because Alaskan gold contains a lot of silver. I actually tested this piece on the test stone. It held under 10 karat acid. It held a little bit under 14 karat acid, but it did start to dissolve, and it did not hold at all under 18 karat acid. So we may actually, to refine this, we may actually have to treat this like it was a karat gold jewelry. We may actually have to inquart this. I just want to show you, I know everything looks like gold here, and it looks nice and golden, including this. This actually was Georgia gold. It was a little bit of amalgam that he got in Georgia. This is the job refine I was talking about. And like I said, I know, he told me where he got this, and it was really fine. That's why it was amalgamated with mercury. And again, if you ever do that, you got to make sure, if you're going to burn that mercury off, you need to do it in a super well ventilated area, because that mercury is probably as lethal or twice as lethal as cyanide gas. So, and it vaporizes at, I think, around 415 degrees, something like that. So a lot of people will just take their amalgam and put it in an iron pan and put it on a burner, way out away from it, and let that mercury vaporize off. But anyway, this, like I said, is that farm, you go somewhere and pay for a pan or whatever, that's what this is. And most of the time that's Alaskan gold, because it's a lot of silver. I want to show you now, we just did our refine, that jewelry refine, where we ended up with that large button of 24 karat gold. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to show you, compared to these, the difference in color. So we know this is pure gold. So this is probably got a little, most Georgia and North Carolina gold has a little bit of silver in it, but this is actually, it's hard to see because it's small, but this is actually a golden color. This actually looks like green gold, like what you would call green jewelry gold. But you see the difference in that color? Tremendous difference in color. This looks, more like this, but this is probably also not, it's going to have copper and silver in it. But that right there has a lot of silver in it. A lot of silver. So I just wanted to show this to you guys, show you what we're going to be working with. So you can see Georgia, pure Alaska. So, alrighty guys, I'll get back with you. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to end up taking all of this little vial outside, and we will melt it into a bead so that we can test it and get an accurate fairly accurate test. Believe it or not, this I believe is only around 12 karat gold. It's only about half gold, maybe 60% gold. Like I said, the Georgia stuff is a little bit better, but we know that's pure. We just refined that, so we know that that's pure, and that shows you the difference. So I'll get back at you when we're going to melt this into a bead. We're going to get it all tested out, and we're going to do a little natural gold refine. So this all on this tray right here is all natural gold. I just wanted to melt that, you know, when I got it, just to see, because I could tell by the color of it. He didn't even have to tell me it was Alaskan, but I could pretty much tell by the color. So we'll get back to you guys in just a bit when we get outside to melt this up. Then we're going to come in and test it, and we'll go from there. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, we have moved outside. It's actually really nice out here today. It's kind of a cool little breeze. I think fall's definitely on the way. But we're going to go ahead. I know this is going to hurt some people, but this is not mine. So we are going to go ahead and pour this into our little melding dish. And we are going to melt it up, and then we are going to test it and see if we can figure out the gold content or close. And a lot of times when I do this, I do this before I fire this torch up because you won't be able to hear me. But many times when I do this, I just dump the gold right into the aqua regia and let it go. But I've been finding that doing that, you end up with some silver material in the bottom, and let me turn this off, and you actually, in that silver, there's gold. If you watch, I don't know, several videos back, right now, kind of when I first started putting out videos, I actually did a small little refine on some placer gold and ended up with a little silver bead. Well, a lot of times those little silver beads, there's just, you know, either a coating of silver and it's gold, you know, like a karat gold underneath, or it's, you know, there's still gold mixed in with the silver, so you end up having to do it, you know, inquart it and do it anyway, or throw it in with an inquarting batch and do it. So what I'm going to try this time is to actually do this basically the same way we did the silver, or not the silver, but the jewelry we just did. That way it's going to go ahead and separate the silver, it's going to go ahead and separate the gold, and it'll all be done at once, and we won't have to worry about the silver that comes out of it containing gold. So I'm going to go ahead and get this melded up. We'll take it back inside with our other little piece of Alaskan stuff that was already melded into a button, and then we already have some stuff that he sent that was amalgamated with mercury that we already burned off and melded into a couple small little buttons. So let me do this real quick, and we'll get right back to you to checking our quality of gold or quantity of gold in this stuff. So, and anyway, when I've got the torch going, I'm not going to talk. If it takes a long time, I'll time lapse it because you just can't hear me. Alrighty, back at you in a minute or two. Okay guys, we got a nice melt, and the reason I get it to the point that you can shake it around, this was a clean dish, but I'm going to show you why you want to move it around in the dish and not just melt it into a button. Because any black sands or any crap that was left over on this gold is going to get collected by that borax and get stuck to the dish. So, and I'll show you that right now. This was clean inside, but now you see that? That's all the crap that came off the gold. You know, there was probably a little bit of black sand. There may have been a little bit of, you know, other just natural contaminants. But anyway, here's our little button. It looks to be a little higher carat than that small Alaskan button. I was thinking that maybe this stuff was from out west, but we'll get it in there and we'll check it out and see what we got. There's definitely some silver in this though too. I can tell just by the color of it. So we'll get back at you when we're inside, and then we're going to check this one out, and we may end up just taking them and melting them all together and processing them like we did the jewelry. So we will be right back at you. Okay guys, we are back inside. There's our gold that we just melted out back, and color wise this is a little bit darker. I'm still thinking that maybe this was from out west somewhere, because this is kind of a white looking gold, where this still is yellowy looking. I know that's another little tiny piece of Alaskan that was also in with this Alaskan stuff. So, and you can tell it's definitely not the same color, but the Georgia gold is definitely a darker yellow. I think that, I know when I was in New Mexico, I got some gold that looked kind of like this, you know, after it was melted. So that's why it was yellower. You know, the flakes and stuff were yellower, and the actual product is, you know, the melted button is a little bit more yellow. This is really, they're almost the same, but this still is more silvery looking. So what I'm going to do is just test this real quick, and then I think we're going to end up melting. You can really see it like that. Look at the difference when it's up against it. We're just going to end up melting all this together, so we can get a starting weight, because that's what we're going to need. Okay everybody, we are back outside again. I am going to go ahead and put all this in the little melting dish, and we are going to go ahead and melt it all together into one button. And then we are going to get our acid set up, or I'll take it back inside again one more time. We'll weigh it up, try and do a test on it all again and see what we got. And then we're going to actually in-quart this gold to do the recovery on it. So let me go ahead and, well, I guess it would help if I turned the gas on. We're actually having a little problem with the wind there. I don't know if you could see it, but it was blowing the torch, you know, the flame. I've got a pretty good strong breeze coming in here right now. Okay, and that has solidified, so we are going to go ahead and take it out, put it in there, close this off, turn off our gas and oxygen, and run back inside. So we'll be right back at you. Alright guys, we are back inside, and I don't know if you can see that, but I melted everything together outside, but I can tell in here just that little bit of Georgia gold that there was changed the color of this gold dramatically. I mean, it actually looks like gold now. Or gold, it doesn't have that like a silvery sheen. It actually looks like a 14 or 18 karat gold, and that was just a tiny little bit. So you can see how different alloys or different metals can affect the color of your gold. But anyway, let's go ahead and put this on here and see what we got. We have 9.39 grams. I'm going to do this, do it again. 9.41. Again, 9.41, 9.41, so we're going to call it 9.40. That's what we are going to be starting with. Let's get my little sheet here. So we are starting with a 9.40 grams. 9.40 grams. And that's our button. And now we're going to see if we can't figure out or get an estimate on the carat content of this, or percentage of gold. So I'm going to do another test on it like that. Set that there. And I know we don't need 10 carat, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with a 14 carat, at which it holds very well. Put a little bit of 18 carat. To me like it is holding fairly well under 18 carat. I'll try a little 22, and we are holding very good. Wipe this off. Put a little bit down here. See what we get. And it is fading under 22 carat. So I'm going to call this 18 karat gold, which is actually what it looks like right now. The color, like I said, that little bit of Georgia gold really changed the color of this. So we're going to take that there like that, let that sit there. Let me take my old 22 karat to clean my stone. And we're going to call this 18 karat gold. So we're going to say it's 18 karat, which is 750 or 75% pure gold. So we're going to figure out how much copper we're going to need for that. 9.40 grams times 0.75 equals, we have 7.05 grams pure. Supposedly pure in this. So we're going to multiply that times 4. Times 4 equals 28.2 grams. We're going to minus the original 9.40. 9.4 minus, and that's going to give us 18.80 grams of copper. So we need 18.8 grams of copper to bring this down to 25% gold. Okay, everybody, we are back outside. We are going to go ahead and in-quart our gold with some copper. Like I said, we're going to do it basically like we did this jewelry refine. I'm choosing to do it this way because I want to get an accurate removal of the silver. So I'm going to go ahead and melt this. I may just leave it in a glob, mix it up real good and leave it in a glob because we have a lot of, enough time to do this. One other thing I want to talk about now, most of the time when you've seen me do job refines, they've been silver. All right, with silver, it's a 25%, as long as there's a 75% silver return. I get 25% and the customer gets 75%. Gold is individual. If you have gold that you want me to refine, gold actually doesn't take as much materials as silver, believe it or not. You use a lot more nitric acid when you're refining silver than you do gold. But gold is kind of an individual thing. I need to know what you have, what you're sending, and then we will work out a deal. So there's no set price for gold because there's so many variants. It depends on what form the gold is you're sending me. If it's jewelry, if it's natural gold, it depends on what process we're going to go through, to recover the gold. Gold is actually more time. It takes more time to do, and there's a lot more steps than silver. So anyway, if you have any gold that you want refined, you need, drop me an email, or we can get together on the phone or something and talk it out and work out, a percentage. But in general, You know, silver's, I get 25%. That's what I charge for silver. Gold, like I said, is going to vary. It'll be depending on what it is, how much it is, you know what I mean, and what carat it is, how much work is going to be involved. So let's get to melting this and get it ready to go into acid. Alright guys, there it is. I'm just going to leave it like that. I am going to put it in the pickle pot for a little bit. This was our copper dish. It doesn't matter because we are going to be melding that off, or getting rid of that. Not melding it off, but getting rid of it. So there is our in-quartered gold in a solid lump. I just didn't feel like picking up all the little BBs this time, so I just did it in a lump. And we are going to, like I said, throw this into our pickle pot for a little bit, get rid of that borax, and then we are going to start our acid. So I think that's probably going to do it for this video, or for part one of doing this placer gold. In the next part, we're going to dissolve this in our dilute nitric acid. So we will get back at you guys then. Hope everybody has a great week. We'll see y'all later.